Hey everyone, welcome back this week to my channel, and I'm so excited that you're tuning in. I finally got this video out and that's awesome. I really want to share with you guys my whole Colorado road trip, and we're going to go step by step through it and everything that I saw. It was a great adventure. Oh my gosh, I want to live out there so bad. Colorado was beautiful. It was awesome. I encourage everyone to go out there on a road trip somewhere even and just explore and go on an adventure. It was the greatest part of my summer. It was definitely the highlight. It was amazing. So I'm going to go through this road trip day by day and tell you everything that Ansley and I saw and what we did and everything. Our trip started Saturday morning. We woke up at 7 a.m. and we hit the road. We planned on clocking in about 16 hours of driving, and we were going to try and make it to Kansas, and we were going to camp out there at a campsite that I had pre-registered for. This is a video clip of us crossing the Ohio River into New Albany. It was a really cool bridge and I thought I'd take a video of it. After 8 hours of driving, we made our first pit stop. We stopped in Grayville, Illinois, and we stopped at this little truck station at the side of the road. Ansley and I had to go to the bathroom pretty bad, so we rushed in and she went to the bathroom and I stopped at the water fountain. I was really thirsty because I ran out of water in my water bottle, so I just stopped at the water fountain and drank so much water that I thought I was going to be sick. I felt so refreshed though. It was so nice. Then I went to the bathroom. I came out and Ansley was filling up her water bottle, and she holds it up and looks at me horrified, and it was filled with this murky brown water. It was nasty. Oh my gosh. Then I realized that I had drank a lot of that water, and I was sure that I was going to be sick the entire trip after that. I thought that it would be a bust. I thought we'd have to stop every hour and go to the bathroom or something. But thankfully, it didn't go like that. Thankfully, it worked out well, and I wasn't sick at all. This is a short clip of us going through St. Louis, and you can see the city in the background, and that was a really cool shot. I really liked it. And St. Louis actually was probably the most interesting city to drive through. When we were driving through it, going 70 miles an hour, there was a van with no side door on it flying past us with someone hanging out the side. And there were no plates on the car. The plates had been removed from the car. And it was painted a really crappy, weird color, like it literally got a spray paint job right before that. So we're guessing it was stolen, because they were flying through the highway. It was a pretty interesting sight to see. I tried to get a video of it, but I couldn't get a good shot because it took off and was weaving through traffic. After roughly 16 hours of driving, we finally made it to our campsite in Kansas. And oh my gosh, it was awful. I was sleeping on just rocks the entire night. It was awful. It was bumpy, there were bugs everywhere inside of our tent. As soon as we pitched it, there were bugs just all inside of it. It was so awful. Oh, there were mosquitoes and gnats everywhere. But thankfully, we got up at 7 a.m. and left that terrible campsite we stayed at. We drove through Kansas, which I could say Kansas is the most boring state ever. Sorry if anyone lives in Kansas, but oh my gosh. It is so flat, and there's just like soybeans and corn everywhere you look. Everywhere. I don't know how many hours we drove through Kansas. It was so painful. We drove through Kansas there and on the way back, and it was so painful. There's nothing to see other than corn and soybeans. But finally, after 8 hours driving, we made it through Kansas, and we were into Colorado and making our way into Denver. When we saw the city, we were so excited and everything. It was a big city, and we'd just come through Kansas and the eastern part of Colorado, where there's no real big cities over there. So it was nice to see a big city and everything and see all the tall buildings. We could see it in the distance, and it was awesome. We were so excited to see the big city and everything and know that like we were finally there in Colorado. We were finally where we wanted to be. And the weird thing was, when you come into the highway into Denver, you pass this huge cat food factory, and all you smell is cat food in your car, like crazy. Like the smell punches you in the face, and it just reeks of cat food. I don't know how that's not a problem, or how they haven't moved the factory or what, but going in and out of the city, we smelled it both times, and it was awful. The weird thing was, there was a Burger King right down the street, like a block away. I don't understand how people eat there. It would just reek of cat food. You'd be eating a burger and you would just smell cat food. I don't get it. It was crazy. After we drove through Denver for a little while, we decided to head west out of Denver and go to Central City, Colorado. And we found this little like nice little town, and there were a ton of casinos there, and it was really cool, and it was right in like the valley of the mountains. We thought it would be a great place to stop for a run. So we went for a 6-mile run, and then we decided to get some dinner at Walmart, just some chicken tenders and chicken wings, and then we thought it would be cool to just head to the campsite and camp out early so that we could have a fire and stuff and go for a little hike. Our campsite was at the Golden Gate Canyon State Park. It was this really cool campsite. You pulled up, paid the $20 fee, and then you pulled in your car, you had a place to pitch your tent, there was a fire pit, a table. It was really nice. It was really nice. It was right on the top of the mountain. The best part about the campsite though was that right behind our tent, right through the tree line, there was an amazing view of the valley and the mountain ranges in the distance. It was something out of this world. It was awesome. It was so beautiful. I loved it so much. Day 3 of our road trip, Monday. We woke up at 7 a.m. and went for a run around the campsite and explored a little before we hit the road. We drove 2 hours up north to the Rocky Mountain National Park, which was an amazing drive through the mountains. It was just a weaving road almost the entire time. It was awesome. There was some great views along the entire trip. We stopped several times to just park the car and take photos. It was an amazing view the entire way. Once we got to the park, we had a plan and we were gonna go on a special hike. It was a 9-mile hike to this really cool lake that I had found. But the trail was closed down and the roads were all closed. So we ended up just finding a trail on the side of the road kind of and just hiking up the mountain to see the view. And it ended up being a really cool view. From the top of the mountain, you can see an amazing view. You could see the whole valley and the mountain ranges in the distance. It was beautiful. The funny thing that happened when we were up there though was that there were other tourists up there with us, and there were chipmunks trying to steal this man's food. There was one chipmunk in particular that was standing on its back legs, distracting people, while the other chipmunks were sneaking behind this man, trying to go through his bag and steal his food. It was hilarious. After we hiked back down the mountain, we explored the little town of Estes that was right outside the park, and we had lunch there. Then we decided to drive down through Boulder, back down to our next campsite in Idaho Springs at Echo Lake Park. When we were driving through Boulder, there was an amazing sunset and we just had to stop and take pictures. It was breathtaking. I loved it. We finally got to our campsite at Echo Lake Park, and I chose that park specifically because you can see a lot of stars there. A lot of stargazers and star watchers, they go there and you can just see the whole sky light up. A lot of famous photos of the Milky Way and the different stars in the galaxy have been taken there, so I thought it would be a cool experience to go there and see for ourselves. We arrived at the campsite pretty late. It was around midnight, so it was pitch dark. And when we pulled up through the front entrance, a man stopped us. He was this creepy dude who said he'd been waiting for us because he knew we were coming. But we're not sure if he actually worked there or not. It was really creepy and weird. But we got to our little campsite, the site I reserved, and we lit a fire and we laid out in a blanket and we watched the stars for like an hour or two. While stargazing though, I got a little hungry and I decided that I should roast some of my Walmart wings on a stick on the fire. You know, I had to put hot sauce on them too because I put hot sauce on everything.